So your books themselves, what is uh what is the idea behind the books or this Cassidy Chronicles, the this universe you put together? Like, what is, I guess, the unique thing about this that makes your voice and what you're doing its own thing?
So there are 8 books out there right now in the Cassidy verse, and I like to think that I have, no matter what style of science fiction you like, I have something for any reader. For the first book, the Cassidy Chronicles, is your origin story.
Mm-hmm.
So throwing it to the MCU, that's your Captain Marvel or your Thor or your Iron Man. This is how these characters got started. Then there's a 4-book series called The Artemis War, which is a space opera. So again, staying with the MCU, this is like the Avengers movies. This is where everything is coming together and the big overarching plots. Um, and I get to dive into some deeper subjects, but they're intended to be a fun read. And then if you read it closely, you're going, wait a second, did he just say what I think he said? Did he just ask that question? Um, the fourth book in that series, which is called Triumph's Ashes, uh, it it has a dedication for those who looked at death and decided the price is not too high. It's about, and the underlying theme is what these characters are willing to uh, give up so that the dream, what they've all been working towards, so that that dream can be achieved. Uh, so that's your space opera. That's your Avengers. And then the new series I started, the first book is The Ghosts of Tantor. The second book, Tracking Tantor. Uh, I'm about halfway done writing, and I plan to have that out this summer, is more of a Star Trek style. So it's they're going off and they're exploring, and they have no idea what's out there.
Sounds like more of like a world building, world expanding adventure kind of thing.
Yeah, it's Star Trek before the Federation. So we don't know that there are technologically advanced aliens out there. We don't know what's out there. So so they have put together a 4 kilometer long starship with a crew of 4,000 and given them 3 years to go and find out everything they can. Just go, go out there. Go. Yeah, sure. Go. You want to go that way? Go that way.
Very, very third or final arc of the Expanse kind of. The rings are open. Now go explore, everybody.
Right. Or Stargate. You don't know where you're going to end up when you walk through. Um, and the other place that you can start is a book called Into the Black, which is a collection of stories set in this universe, and you can read them without knowing anything about the universe because they're all self-contained. The little bits of information you need about the universe you get it in the story, but it's just very briefly painted on. But it's all about the characters. It's all about them. So and I got to play with it. I got to have fun with it. So I got to write a teenage romantic comedy and put it in.
Okay.
There's a noir detective story that I wrote and put it into this Cassidy Chronicles universe.
Now, I'm curious, is there a reason? Did you set out to just say, I want to go out and create this epic pond for me to play around in? Or is that during, like, say, during the course of that first, novella, first making that first novel, did you just fall in love with the characters you're writing and just want to continue that story and flesh things out? Or, was it the intention to create a universe, or was it just like a natural offshoot of going through your process?
It was more of an offshoot because the first book, it's self-contained. It has a little epilogue which tells what happens, in broad strokes, what happens down the line to the various characters. And then I put that aside and started writing what was going to be the next book. And I had a really neat idea. Okay, there's an ecological crisis coming. It's going to hit Earth in about 20 years. So what is this little group going to do about it? And I got about 5,000 words written of it, and the world building just wasn't there. I couldn't see the world around these characters. At which point, Kendra, who is one of the main characters from the Cassidy Chronicles, kind of popped into my head and said, "Duh, put it in my universe," and it. So I did, added one little reference to those characters in that first chapter, and all of a sudden it just took off. And when I reached the end of that first book, I knew this was going to be a pretty involved series, because it's, not only is there a crisis coming up, but we're on the cusp of a technological revolution. The first faster than light starship is this close to being launched.
It reminds me a lot of like the three body problem, where like everything is preparing for this far off thing, and the world changes so much in the preparation for that thing that like whatever you expected to happen at the beginning of it isn't what's going to happen at the end, because it can't. Everything's different than it was or would have been.
Yeah, and it was a little bit to The Expanse, although I've seen very little of The Expanse, but what I've heard
The books
of
are
it,
better.
yeah, but what I've heard of it since then, it seems like James Covey. Seems like he and I were subconsciously tapped into the same wavelength, because I created a Solarian Union, which is the Moon, Mars, Titan, and the asteroids. They're all one nation, and they hold the high ground. They control the solar system, and they don't want they so in the Cassidy verse, they don't want a faster than light starship, because that frees the Earth from their control. If we can go to different star systems, we don't need the Solarian Union. So they declare war on the main characters.